Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to another LEGO Train MOC showcase video. This is quite the special episode because I would only assume that most people already recognise the locomotive on their screen. This is Mallard, the fastest steam locomotive in the world, clocking 126 miles per hour. There was a lot of back and forth as to whether this was the fastest train ever to hit 100 or something like that, compared with like City of Truro. I can't remember all the details, but I do know there's still an argument going on about the legitimacy of that record. But still, you cannot deny that this engine is very famous and very good looking. Now, the model you see here is based off another model. So this is mid-August 2019, and not too long ago, YouTuber Isaac Smith, or Smith Movies, recently not deactivated, but stopped taking pledges on Patreon, basically. I'm one of his patrons, and during his last few sort of days, his patrons were accidentally charged, but he compensated by giving out the instructions to his Mallard. So I thought, yep, we got to make that happen now, and this is the end result. It is not a one-to-one replica following all the instructions perfectly. I've made some modifications in a number of areas. We will get to that in time. But still, I can now say I have Mallard on my railway. This is cool. This is very cool. Now you see here that there is a power functions remote. Of course it is powered, all done in the tender, but we're going to leave the tender to a side and focus on the boiler. So the first major difference between my model and Isaac's model, the wheels are more exposed. Not just the drive wheels, but all of the wheels. So this is pretty much the same with the two bars along there, which I think looks pretty good. The drive wheels are supposed to have another tile kind of going across here and slightly covering these. But in testing, they would kind of get stuck up against those plates, and turning the wheels would be a lot more difficult and it wouldn't run as smooth. So anytime you see it jerking or stopping there, it's just because I've got carpet floor and it's uneven. And it definitely runs a lot better like this because, again, the wheels are free. And I'm quite glad I actually went ahead and made that change, because you also get to see the red wheels as well. For the longest time, well, not for the longest time, but for a long time, I didn't know that Mallard had red wheels. So when I saw people's models, I'm like, oh, red wheels, what's wrong with you? It was like, yeah, look at the picture, look again, get a good one. I was like, oh yeah, red wheels looks pretty good actually. The blue and red contrast is quite nice. But yes, it is a good looking engine. Another thing that I have never done before is this bit here, this sort of streamlined element. It is a curved detail that is done very cleverly and a bit gingerly added on, because if I actually try to take this off, there we go. So it's connected to this piece here and angled in such a way where it doesn't really wiggle around. So that's the face piece itself. Let me swap hands again. So yeah, that is what it looks like. I can definitely take this off again in the future because it's obviously easily put on, and kind of replicate this for other models. I don't really know how I would apply this to other engines though, because again, it's just weird. I think I'll have to try and make a specific model. I don't know. We can think of that in the future, but that is very cool that I've finally built that. I know it's not by myself, but the fact that I can say, yes, I now have a proper streamlined A4 sort of front. This is the worst part, trying to get it back on. But yeah, it's very cool, basically. Right, it's not actually attached, but it's sitting there. Okay, so that'll have to do. So yeah, going down the boiler, of course, it looks good. The buffers look amazing. Going down the boiler is nice and round. Again, it's not one-to-one. Some of the details here with the whistles and kind of up front with the nameplate is slightly different. But it looks really good. These training wheels here, these would have... Oh, camera, behave. There we go. So there was supposed to be another piece here connecting a 1x4 tile to cover these wheels. But I don't know how these do it, but on their own, they would kind of just fold inwards and rub against the wheels. So I thought, right, I'm not having this anymore, and just completely remove them. So these are more free, and again, you get to see the wheels even more, which is really nice because the red on blue does look really good. And also, if I quickly turn this over this way, there's a few things to show here. So first of all, the cab is the cab roof is of course removable. There we are. So can we try and get good lighting? There we go, that works. So apparently Mallard has a symmetric cab, which is something I never knew before. Looking at the inside, it's very simple, of course, lots of black details. And I don't know if I can try and... There we go. So that transparent sort of orange piece there is supposed to represent the fire inside the firebox, and that looks really good. I never thought of using that detail. It's a 1x2 transparent orange sort of brick, and I thought that's really clever. I'm gonna have to think of that in the future, because I've used just actual flame pieces themselves as the actual fire, but that's actually quite good because of course those bricks have studs on them and you can continue to build around that. So yeah, that is the boiler of Mallard. Looks very cool indeed. Let's go grab the tender. Actually, what I'm going to do... There we go. Come on, work. No, wrong way. Hang on. Slowly but surely. There we go. Right, we'll turn that off to save the batteries. And yes, this is the tender of Mallard. It looks very boxy and the top part looks very bad. Again, this is mainly because there is a big old battery and the rest of the power functions in there. So I'm using these slope bricks just to kind of connect the battery to the rest of the tender. Sadly, I've got no cold details, but that's not too much of a problem. But for what this is actually pretty good. So one thing you may have noticed as well, because this is powered, the motor is taking up a lot of space. And there's only 6 wheels on this tender instead of 8. That's a shame, but at the same time, you know, you kind of have to make yourself aware and accept that this is going to be the case. Also with these wheels as well, it's the same ones as the trailing wheels on the boiler. These had a cover, but again they kept falling in, so I had to get rid of them. And it does run quite smoothly actually, which is a very good thing. On the back I've got a Lego printed piece. Well, it's all Lego, I mean this bit here basically, just to give it a bit of life or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, it's just a simple build, you know, it's power functions surrounded by blue bricks. Looking good. Now the connection for this is actually quite remarkable. If I take it back off again, so can you see, there we go, you can see that piece there on the end, and that connects to a ball point on the other side. So over here, if I try and stick out, there we go, so you can see there, try and focus, there we go, so it's this bit here. So these are 2 lit bricks that I haven't used before for trains, but after seeing this I thought this would be interesting. I might be able to use this again in the future. So there we go, that's just how they are connected. The front part just fell off, hang on. What I want to do actually is, there, yeah, if that fell off, I want to actually try and fix that, so give me a sec. There we go, just needed both my hands. And I haven't actually given you a good look at the front yet, so there we go. Buffer is looking good. It's just a nice build. This is supposed to be rounded around like that, but it needs this sort of half brick version of these bigger slopes, which I don't have in blue, so it's a bit chunky, but it works. So yeah, there we go, that's Mallard. Now for the exciting part. Here we go. Oh, wrong way again. Go backwards first. Now, because this is using the power function friendly wheels, basically sort of these style of wheels, and not the smoother kind of one piece style bricks that you would normally use for rolling stock. These have a lot more friction and don't turn as smoothly. So for the action video in the future, I'm going to have to get another motor behind it and kind of assist with the pushing. This is definitely a strong engine. It can pull at least, I'd say, 2 coaches estimate. I haven't actually run this with any rolling stock yet, but I can definitely see this going around without a problem. But for any of the longer trains, it definitely needs some assistance. Right, there we go. So that is Mallard. Thank you to Isaac Smith for releasing the instructions as a compensation to the patrons that pledged to you back when it was still going. A lot of people have been getting a bit pissed off with Isaac because he's got commitments to fulfill and whatever else. There was a guy who sent a message on one of my videos a few days ago when I released about the Thomas how-to build video. And it got a bit complicated, but yeah, not everyone's a fan of him, but at the same time, his creations are pretty good, and he released this, so yeah, this is pretty cool. So yeah, there we go. If you want to make one yourself, then I suppose you can use this as a look. I can't actually give you the instructions because that was a paid for piece and I can actually get into a lot of trouble for that. And at the same time, I mean, you know what the shape looks like. Getting an idea for what that was, how that was built, that's basically all you need to really know. So yeah, Mallard on the Triton Lego Railway. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all ever so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you all in the next episode. Bye.